I'm interested about what this shows, this great story about the internal groundwork you laid. In other words, if you just started yesterday as a blogger when this happened inside TSA, this probably would never have happened.
Just wait. She's going to ask her.
Okay. I've got horrible short-term memory. But anyways, go ahead.
My question is, like you said, with TSA not having the so stellar reputation with the public, how were you personally around when they started the TSA blog, and how much convincing, massaging, negotiating did it take from the top to get them to go forward with this? Because I noticed that within a lot of agencies, they're having a problem, even though it's sanctioned by the White House, and there's many, many examples now, people are still having a problem convincing their agency that it's okay to jump into this arena. And I think it's because, you know, they're not so popular.
Hey.
Last question. How did you overcome the lawyers and the Privacy Act?
Okay. Refresh my memory on the first one real quick. The first question. Just tickle my brain real quick and refresh me.
Which is similar to her question.
Okay, well, I can answer yours real quick.
Okay.
The convincing was extremely easy because it started off with our former administrator, Kip Hawley, saying, I want a blog. And he basically told Public Affairs, if I don't get a blog, I'm going to go out and start blogging on other people's blogs. And we didn't want that. So, and a lot of us did want to blog, but normally, and this is what's very interesting, is normally when I go to different conferences and seminars, it's usually, I hear people talk about the uphill battle to convince leadership that you need a blog. And with us, fortunately, we didn't have to go through that because actually Kip Hawley and Michael Chertoff were both big believers in social media. And so Kip had no problem convincing his boss, Michael Chertoff, to allow TSA to have a blog. So that was really easy. And the other question was about privacy? Yeah. Okay. Now, I can't get into all the gobbledygook and legal mumbo-jumbo, but the good news is the lawyers and the chief counsel and the privacy officer were in the office when we decided to put this video up, and they both gave the thumbs up. And so we included them on things like this. When we have a blog post that really isn't real sensitive in nature, we just approve it within maybe a subject matter expert and within Public Affairs and post it. But when something's sensitive like this, we involve legal and privacy and whoever else needs to be involved to make sure we're not going to get smacked for it. And did I answer the gentleman's question on the back?
I asked about the groundwork you laid before this incident that made this work. TSA to respond so quickly.
Correct. Yes, if this would have happened the first day of the blog, I can't say we wouldn't have responded like this because actually, before we had a blog, Kip Hawley released a video. I don't know if anyone remembers the sippy cup incident, where a woman at DCA had a sippy cup, and she claimed that we did several things. I forget the exact story, and the story went to national news, and we were able to post a video on our webpage. And this is before we had a blog, and it got a lot of attention. And a lot of people were saying, you know, this is new for a government agency to do something like this. And so, you know, I kind of think we may have moved ahead like this because we were able to do it before the blog, and we would have said, hey, now we've got this vehicle to help us even get the message out further. Now, as far as Twitter, we launched a blog in 2008, January of 2008. We didn't start on Twitter until April of 2008, so we wouldn't have probably been too familiar with Twitter at the time. But Twitter was a huge tool in getting the message out with this. Oh. Personality is definitely a big issue, a big deal, and when I usually present with a larger presentation, I'll mention if you're going to find someone to blog, make sure it's someone that doesn't speak like a robot, that does use plain language, and because so many times, I mean, you'll read studies where they'll say, you know, your subject matter expert or your CEO might know everything there is to know about what they're blogging about, but they're not the best person to get the message out. And that's exactly where I come in, and others like me, is I'll reach out to the CEO, not the CEO, but I'll reach out to the subject matter expert, and I'll say, okay, just provide me with the facts, and I'll write around them and get the message out.